Good glorious morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope that you all are faring well. It's time for our weekly reading today. I didn't get to do it on yesterday because I was working at a holistic fair. Those things are awesome. So much healing energy and so many very talented artists and very gifted healers. So I've indeed been in the presence of the divine all weekend. And a part of that presence, a practicing part of that presence. And it was quite wonderful. So I'm happy to be with you today and to shuffle the cards. We're working from the Chrysalis Tarot deck today to see what spirit would speak to us regarding the upcoming week. And I'm excited about this week. Last night was a beautiful full moon, and there was an eclipse of the moon. I don't really understand those things very well. But I do feel the power of the moon, and especially when we change, when we transition into a new cycle of the moon. And life is that way. We're in the change of seasons in our lives, in our weather patterns, in our earth, in our thinking. I'm feeling a paradigm shift with many of us for the challenges that we've been through and perhaps starting new cycles in our life. So let's get right to the cards, and I've pulled a card for us, and wow. Our first card, though it's a beautiful card, looks like a card of when I'm looking at this card, I see that our little messenger here has is reflecting that we've been through some challenges and that we're just exhausted. She's just thrown herself upon the altar of sacrifice there and is saying, I give up. I'm done. I can't go any further. I can't do any more. But there's a 9 there. So there's 9 scrolls laying down before her. So she's done all the things that she can do, and she has one last little bit. I'm sure she'll find the energy. So Monday today is the beginning of the week, and our challenge that faces us is to recognize we've got one more little hurdle, one more little thing. And it's okay to just kind of let go and realize that you've done what you can do. You've done all that you can do. And I think that she's holding on to that one little scroll because that's her faith. She's not going to let that go. She's exercised her patience. She's exercised her long-suffering, her goodness, her mercy. She's put everything that she has into the endeavor and into getting over. So many of us are feeling that way today, maybe. We've come to that place where we said, okay, Lord, I've done all I can do. But she's holding on to that one little thing, and I think that one little thing would be her faith. And so today's message to begin Monday, and I know we're facing the beginning of a week, but Monday today is saying the first part of the week, recognize, be aware that you've done what you can do. Now just trust. Go into this week hopeful, trusting. Let's look at another card. Okay, we have another card. This one's quite a bit better. This card is showing what I'm going to consider a wise man walking out of the mountains. And I'm just totally looking at these cards and reading them intuitively with what my eyes see people and what my spirit feels. And you know, I come from a strong Christian background, so he's coming kind of down from a mountain. So I'm going to look at this as a depiction of maybe the character Moses when he's coming down from the mountain. And he's coming down with a staff in his hand, and there's writing on the wall behind him. There's 8 mirrors behind him along the path that he's come through. So once again, when we just had a 9, so we're looking at Wednesday. People, I think this week is going to be an entire week of self-introspection, self-awareness, and self-recognition, recognizing where you are in the grand scheme of things, okay? So he's coming down from the mountain. He has a staff. He's wearing a white robe. He's a bearded man. Let's think of this as wisdom. The staff has the head on it that the hair seems to be grayish. So there's a lot of wisdom that's coming. A lot of wisdom. And when we look back along the path that we've come, once again, there's reflection. And this time it's symbolized by the mirrors. So this is our emotions that come into play, as well as recognizing. So sometimes when we look back on all the things that we've done, and quite sometimes the things that we may think we have sacrificed, but I want you to look at it this week as the seeds that we've planted along the way. And so since he's coming kind of down from the mountain, perhaps he's had a most glorious experience. Perhaps he's been in the presence of divinity. And perhaps he's bringing us the wisdom that comes from hindsight. So as you look back on what you've done, there will be things that will be revealed to you. Okay? Hindsight. But when you're putting it in the perspective of self-awareness, self-introspection, in hindsight, did you sow any seeds of goodness? Did you leave some mercy behind? Did you work through forgiveness, tenderness, long-suffering? And was there gratefulness? And I hope that we can all find the peacefulness that we so desire while we're being mindful and introspecting. Wednesday will show us not only where we're going, but reveal to us many of those things that were going on in the background. And I think will be expounding to us to recognize and appreciate that we've done some good along that path. You know, I think about church sometimes, and like sometimes on Sundays you go and you hear a good message, and by Wednesday you don't even remember that message. So for those Christians, friends of mine who have been in the presence of divinity and received some goodness or a good word, be mindful as Wednesday comes around. Keep your trust, keep your faith, and remember the words that came to encourage you. Remember the words that came to propel you forward, to inspire you. Latch on to your inspiration Okay? Let's find another card. All right. The card that comes out for me today is the Lovers. It's a beautiful card. It's showing a couple at the foot of the tree of life. It's showing the animals, doves, lambs, owls, rabbits, cats, and there's Merlin. Merlin is in that card. So as we look at this card, let's remember that things come together. We see two people, male and female. Let's say yin and yang. Let's say things come into balance for us. Okay? As we've come through this path. So when you're looking at Friday, approaching the weekend, our next weekend says that it all comes together. It all comes together as one. And while the male and the female have their vast differences, they can be reconciled as one. They can be united as one. And Merlin is a wizard of health, of healing. Okay? So all this week, we're on a path of healing. Healing from emotional wounds, from traumas, from challenges, from all the things that we've been through this cycle in our life. And just as the moon changed its cycle, our emotions will change their cycles. Okay, our lives, we're ready for another cycle. With the culmination of one thing comes the first fruits of another. You put that seed in the ground, you don't see what it's doing for a while, and sometimes you're not sure if it's doing anything. And then you see the first little springs of greenery come up, and then you see it get tall and strong, and then you see it bear fruit. So let's go back to Monday. Hold on to your faith. Hopefully, prayerfully, and if not today, you get a word of hope from me saying, hang in there. Lay your all on the altar of sacrifice. Lay your desires before divinity, before the divine, before God. And fully expect that as you walk it out, keeping in mind that good word of I am with you always, I will never leave you or forsake you. Hang on to that. And know that at the end of the week, at the end of this cycle, you will see results. So keep marching on, my friends. I accidentally dropped a card here, so oh my. I think I'm going to share this one too. My reading's a little bit longer today, so. This card is the golden flower, and I think it is the perfect icing on our cake today. I think it's divinity's way of saying, yes, indeed, you flourish. You flourish. You come forth and shine bright and brilliant like this sunflower. Or if you want to look at it a different way, the sunflower inspires us. And we see the two fish going in different directions. We see the two butterflies of transformation. We see the lamps, perhaps with oil in it. Understand, people, The passage that comes to my mind was, "You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." I'm hanging on to my faith, folks. You hang on to yours, whatever you're going through, whatever you're facing. Now have a glorious day, have a glorious week, and remember, I love you all.